That's very kind. Still not allowed. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I had to reschedule it. I had a conflict of interest happening there, but we worked it out, and this is going to be recorded, so everybody that's not here will be able to see it. So what I want to do is, as I go through this, I want to know if you guys have any questions. If you guys have any questions, I teach a lot of these classes a lot, so sometimes I go off on things expecting everybody to know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, there's not clarity, please just raise your hand, let me know what your question is. I want to answer all questions and help you out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process. So to make 6 figures in real estate, to either make your first 6 figures or your next 6 figures, there's a process. So if you're already making like $200,000, $300,000, you can put an extra 100 grand on that by implementing parts of this process. The process is a 3-step process. The first process is your foundation, which is what we're going to talk about today. Your foundation is going to include your mindset, your database, and your online presence. So those are very, very, very important. The second step of the process is lead generation, and your third step is follow-up. So I'm going to briefly go over lead generation and follow-up at the very end of this, but those are both separate classes that I've taught, and I've taught the entire process as well. And we should have videos on all of those. So we're going to start with just the foundational part of it, because I have worked with agents who have been in the business and they've kind of rode the wave of the market. Like there's a good market, there's a bad market. There's a good market, there's a bad market. The one thing I've realized in my 21 years in real estate is there is no such thing as a good market or a bad market. It's just the market. You don't have control over what the market does. You don't have control over interest rates. And everybody that's freaking out about interest rates right now, they don't really understand how it works. Because I know when I got into real estate a millennia ago, interest rates were 7.25%. And that was amazing at the time. People loved that. People were like, oh my God, 7.25%, and then it dropped to 7, and people were like freaking out. That's amazing. And so to get to the point to where we had a 2.99 interest rate is just insane to me. So I think we're somewhere around 6 right now. I don't even pay attention to it because it really doesn't mean anything to me. People are always going to buy and sell, right? And so your job is just to figure out where they are in that process. So we're going to go through the foundational aspect of this. I broke it again.
It was working.
Probably, see, I'm breaking things though, because mine, I broke that. There we go. All right. So let's talk about mindset. I don't have a lot of slides for you. So I want to actually engage with you and talk to you and see if there is anything that is stopping you from getting to where you need to go. The mindset aspect is the most important process out of any process when it comes to real estate and mostly business in general. You don't need a lot of talent. You don't need to be super smart. You don't even have to have a lot of skill. But if you believe you can do it, that's the key. You actually have to believe you can do it. I love this quote, and it's thousands of people are going to not believe in you in your lifetime. Don't you be one of them. It's very, very easy to not think that you're capable of doing something amazing. But if you look at these amazing things that people have done in life, like I can take the top 10 agents in Keller Williams in Los Angeles that are literally selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property. There's nothing special about them. They're not super smart. They're not super talented. What is special about them is that what they've done is they've put together the time and the effort to put together a lot of relationships. And so if I can reframe your thinking on how real estate works, because you are not buying and selling anything. You're helping a buyer and you're helping a seller make a decision because they've come to a point in their lives where they're going to transact real estate. The buyer has either not owned a house and wants a house, or doesn't like their house anymore and wants a different house. The seller, something's happened. Most people buy and sell because of life events, like they get a job, they lose a job, they have a baby, they get divorced, they get married. Like there's all these different reasons. So you as a real estate agent, your job is to talk to everybody you know ad nauseum and figure out where they at in life. And so this is going to be sprinkled in the lead generation and the follow-up program a little bit in the mindset aspect. But what I'm trying to do is get your mind in the position to realize that when you lead generate, which I actually hate that word lead generate, is like your job is to check in with everybody you know, see where they at. Where are they at? How are things going? Once you can reframe lead generation and getting leads and listing and selling houses and realizing that it's not an event, it's a process, that's going to change everything in your business. And once you start implementing this, what'll happen is that you're going to talk to people, you're going to find out they're fine, they don't need any help, they love their house, they love where they live, everything's perfect. But then the follow-up process kicks in and you follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. And then one day, things aren't fine. There's an issue. Somebody's going to school, somebody's leaving, somebody's getting married, somebody's getting divorced. Like there's all of these, there's a handful of reasons of why things happen. But being top of mind and realizing you're not in it for a sale, you're in it for the relationship. Because when you transact with somebody, that's not the only deal you ever do with them. One of the biggest issues we have in real estate is that it's a very transient business. So last year, 49% of all agents did 0 to 1 deal. Like that tells me a lot. The real big issue is that when they did a poll on if somebody would use their agent again, it was like 80% of all people said they would use their last agent again. Like 10% do. And that's because we don't keep up the relationship. We don't follow up with the relationship. We do the transaction, we move on. So technically, if you go into a farm area to farm homes, and anybody that's bought or sold in the last 0 to 5 years, those people, 10% of them have been orphaned. And you could probably pick them up. Or is it 80%? My math is out of whack right now. So what I want you to do is realize that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing special about you. Everybody is the same. The thing that separates a $100 million agent and an agent that's never sold a house is the mindset and the belief that they can do it. That's it. And that $100 million agent started at 0 too. He started at 1 transaction. We had the rookie of the year last year who did $189,000 in their first 12 months. That guy is a beast on the phone. He's in his 20s. Got on the phone, started making phone calls. He didn't care about what people said. He didn't care about anything he did. Followed up with everybody he knew. And he did a lot of it in commercial real estate. That's great. That's a really hard hustle to do. But it comes down to the mindset of believing you are able to do it. And if I can give you an example, Ryan Serhant. Does anybody know who Ryan Serhant is? He was on the TV show $1 Million Listing New York. He's got great books. He's one of my top 5 books I recommend to everybody to read. It's called Sell It Like Serhant. Absolutely read that book. Read the audible version because he narrates it himself. He's really funny. And he's got a lot of inflection in his voice, which is super helpful. But when he first started his first 12 months in real estate, he did $9,000. Like $9,000 won't pay my bills for this month, much less making that for an entire year. So you time travel from that first year to 10 years after he's been in real estate, he's selling $1 billion worth of real estate. That's, to me, that's hard to comprehend. But he did it based on the conversations we're gonna have today. And he based it on relationships, not lead generation. He has a lot of cool, crazy stories in there, but ignore those. But there's nothing special about him. There's nothing, he was an actor, hand model, and he wasn't working, he wasn't making any money, and he had his debit card declined. It's like all these really cool stories of how there's nothing that made him special, and now he is who he is. And it's because of, in my opinion, it's relationships and over communication is how we get it. But if somebody like that can do it, then that means everybody in this room can do it. You just have to believe you can. So mindset is the number one thing, because all these things that I'm gonna talk about you doing after this, it's gonna have to do with mindset. You're gonna have to believe you can. And you're gonna have to realize, I was just on a Zoom call with a team leader out of San Diego, that we're talking about being successful. I think we've been tricked into thinking what we know success is. You're not gonna be successful based on you being successful. You're gonna be successful based on your failures today. Whatever you fail at, whatever you trip and fall over, that's gonna help you build your success for tomorrow. Your greatest success is gonna come from either a lot of or your greatest failures. And I can tell you a whole bunch of personal stories about myself, but I'm going to spare you the boredom of those conversations. But it's just, you have to realize that failure is a part of success, and that's how it happens. And sometimes it takes longer for some people, and we all have a process. Like, we can go talk about, like, Colonel Sanders. Like, he didn't become successful until his 80s, I think. It happens. Everybody's different. There's people that happened in their 20s. There's YouTubers out there that became successful and now they have nothing. Right? So there's nothing that separates anybody. It's really your mindset, what you think about yourself, and realize that the thing that's going to get you where you need to go is the consistency in your behavior. You're probably really bored because, like, we just talked about this yesterday. It's the consistency in your behavior and not believing that you have to give me 100% every day. You have to give yourself the art of showing up for yourself. You have to show up, do what you can, and then show up the next day, and show up the next day, and then show up the next day. That's going to get you to success. And realizing that life happens, you have good days, you have bad days. And the bad days and the good days have one thing in common. Do you guys know what that is? They both end. They both end. Your bad day will not always be a bad day, and your good days will not always be a good day. So when you have an amazing day, just realize that's going to stop at some point. And prepare yourself. Like, in my opinion, that's the only expectation you should ever have about your life, is that the good days and the bad days, they will end. And if you're going through a bad day, just you have something to look forward to. If you're having a good day, you realize it's coming, just prepare yourself. You just never, ever know what either one of them are going to be. They could be your greatest day ever. I'll tell you a quick story that kind of got me on my path to where I'm at today. Is that when I was in Vegas, I was testing for police departments because I wanted to be a police officer. I'd gotten out of the military, and I was a military police officer, and I wanted to be a police officer in Las Vegas. And there's like 9 departments in Las Vegas. And so I was testing for all of the departments, and I was getting in. So like thousands of people would test. So just to keep perspective, thousands of people would test. And the lines would be around the corner, and people testing, taking the written exam, taking the physical exam, and so on and so forth. And you'd have these different stages to where you could get to. And I never really got far in these stages. And I remember there was this department in the city that I was going to test for. And it was like, for some reason, they were like, you have to be here at 5:30 in the morning on the other side of town. And I rode a motorcycle at the time, and so it was cold. I didn't want to ride the motorcycle when it was cold, because if anybody rode a motorcycle and it's freezing out there, you're like, And so I remember myself thinking, I test for so many, like, well, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Pass, check, pass, I'll just go to the next one. And for some reason, I was like, you know what? I woke up and I went. Was not happy about it. Jumped on my motorcycle. I went. It was a physical test. I passed the physical test. Got on my bike, rode home, forgot about it. And it's like that little decision that I made. I got to call back for the written test. I know. Got to call back for the psychological test. I ended up getting the position. All because of that little thought in my mind to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this. And it ended up being one of the greatest decisions that I've ever made, because it led me to where I'm at today. And it was just an incredible experience that I went through. And that all came down to mindset. And me believing that I could actually do it. Because there was a bunch of points in time to where I didn't think it was going to happen. So I have to implore that if you run into a brick wall, if you're at a point where like, I'm not sure what to do, I'm not sure how to do it. You always have to come back to yourself and say, what are the limiting beliefs that you believe right now that's stopping you from moving forward? There was an agent in Bakersfield that I met with, and I think I told this at the team meeting, that I met with, that the PC coach brought me in. The guy was just like, I've been doing this for 4 years. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think I should join the team. And I'm like, well, how many people do you have in your database? And he's like, oh, well, I have so and so and so and so. I go, well, how do you meet more people? And then it came out that he actually plays pickleball. I don't get. He plays pickleball and he sees people every day, 40 people every day. Because I was like, well, every week when you go play pickleball, he's like, no, it's every week. I mean, it's every day. And I was like, oh, 40 people every day. And I go, how many of those people in your database? None. I go, oh, interesting. He goes, yeah, and I go to a church. I go, how many of those people in your database? He's like, none. Well, there's a level of fear. And that's the thing that I think everybody needs to understand is that if there's something if you're something you're not doing that you know you should do, you can give yourself every excuse in the world on why you're not doing it. At the end of the day, it's a level of fear. Fear comes out in different ways. Like there's the jump scare fear of like, I'm gonna get eaten by a monster. There's the fear of like, I don't want to go on that roller coaster because like, I know I'm not gonna die. I just don't want to feel like I'm gonna die, right? There's the fear of public speaking. There's all these different levels of fear. Fear are like light rays. Like there's X-rays, there's microwaves, there's light rays, there's all these different rays, and there's different levels of fear. So if you are not doing something that you know you should be doing, or your coach is asking you to do, or I'm asking you to do, you have to really look at what level of fear is that, because that's just what it is. And I asked this guy and I said, listen, can I be 100% honest with you? Like 10 being, punch you in the face honest, or 0 being like, oh my God, you're amazing, you don't do anything wrong. Like he was like, no, give me a 12. I'm like, you're just scared. You're scared. He said, well, what am I scared of? I go, whatever you're not doing. Like right now, it's putting people in your database and calling them every day. And that's fine. We all have that fear. Anybody in real estate, very few people have actually not had that fear. But it all comes back to mindset. And if you're afraid of talking to people and them not using you, don't worry about that because they probably aren't going to use you anyway. And Tracy and I just had a situation to where we had a major family member not use us. Check, they're out of the database, goodbye. And there was an expectation that that wouldn't happen anyway. But it's like, you can't be afraid to have these conversations, because if you're afraid, oh my God, like I had an agent who was like, I don't want to post on social media because people are going to block me. Well, by you not posting on social media, they kind of already blocked you. You blocked yourself with your mindset. So the key to success in real estate is frequent and aggressive communication. But you have to believe you can do it. And so wrapping up the mindset piece, what are you willing to do to be successful? That's the answer. What are you willing to do? Because I'll tell you what happens is that I'll talk to agents and I'll say, well, did you call your spirit? No, I don't want to talk to people. I don't have a big spirit. I don't have a big spirit, right? That's the biggest excuse that I get. I don't have a very big sphere. I don't know a lot of people. You know at least 100 people. And I say 100 people because if you're young, you've only been on the planet for so long, you only know so many people. But if you only know 100 people, that's a 6-figure income. It just is. And if you know 100 people, the goal is to take 100 people and do this. 101, 102, 103. The goal is to make it bigger every day. How can you do that? And I think the statistic is that people have 27 unique conversations a day. Who are you talking to every day? Who are you talking to, and do they know you're in real estate? So if you're brand new in real estate, the best thing you can do is call everybody you know and say, hey, I just joined Keller Williams and I just want to make sure, I'm super excited. My coach told me to call everybody. I wanted to call everybody, however you want to frame it. I had an agent do this who joined the office in February. He said, I called everybody and I told them how excited I was to join Keller Williams and that I'm going to start a journey to be a real estate agent. Doing that got him a $1.3 million listing in his first 30 days. Within his first 45 days of being here in the office, he closed a $1.3 million deal. Because a lot of people will say, oh, well, they know I'm in real estate. Oh, my family knows I'm in real estate, or my friends know I'm in real estate. Do they know? And if you're not talking to them enough, do they know how serious you are? Because the general public knows how quickly people fall out of business in real estate. I think the attrition rate is something like 80 to 90% in the first 5 years. It's crazy. The beginning of last year, 2023, 60,000 agents left the business in January. That's fine. It's not always for everybody. But you actually have to believe that you can do it, and you have to figure out, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to talk to as many people as you could possibly talk to? Are you willing to call your people? Are you willing to put them in the database? What are you willing to do? I don't want to know what you're willing not to do, unless you are being successful in doing what you're doing. So it's the mind. Any questions about the mindset piece before I move on?
I just want to say.
Absolutely.
So yeah, my friend, she works for one company and she's in sales.
Yep.
And she's a top 6 salesperson. And she, she always calls people and she says, if you don't make those calls, you're not selling, and real estate is selling. It is sales. So just wanted to say that.
Well, so let's reframe that. Real estate is sales, but you know what? Everything is sales. Everything is sales. When I'm recruiting you guys, I'm sitting in front of you, I'm trying to sell myself, right? When you're sitting in front of somebody, you're trying to sell. When you go, everything you do is a sale and everything you get is a commission. If you just in life in general. When you're going out with friends, you're going out on a date. So you're trying to sell something there, right? So you have to realize that sales is just a part of life. And if you reframe it, like you're trying to get somebody to do something in almost everything you do. You want to get people to like you. You want to get certain things here or there. But sales is just life. So you're absolutely correct. So, online presence. Oh boy. Who has a Facebook account? Yeah, everybody? Okay. Who has an Instagram? Who has a LinkedIn? Oh, we lost a couple of people there. All right. Who has a YouTube? Okay. How often do you post on it?
It's about a different topic. It's about mantra meditation. So I have to
Meditation?
start my real estate one.
That's fine. It doesn't. Your social media presence does not have to be about real estate. You can, but you have to sprinkle in, oh yeah, by the way, I'm in real estate, or put in links and something about you being in real estate, but whatever is going to get you most exposure. So let's see here. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So at the lowest level of online presence, that's the minimum of what I think you should have. Because there's a ton of people out there that are like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go online. I don't like to do blah, 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 blah. I don't have a lot of patience for the lack of online presence because you're running a business. You are the CEO of your company. You're the CEO of Shea, you're the CEO of Essence, you're the CEO. So if you, as Essence, doesn't like social media, great, that's fine. You cannot like social media, but your Essence real estate business should like real estate, should like social media. So I always tell people, if you were the CEO of Jamba Juice, would you be like, I don't like social media, so Jamba Juice is not going to do social media? That's not the way that's going to work, right? Your board of directors will fire you. Because social media is the exact thing that you want, which is attention. Your job, you're calling people and you're trying to make sales, you're doing this, you need attention. The difference between you and the agent that's doing $500 million worth of sales every year, and there is that person out there, is that he has more attention than anybody else. He has more attention of high net worth individuals than anybody else. And your deficiency is attention. Collecting data and gathering people's attention is the most valuable thing right now, more than gold. If you go back 20 years, you can see that the top 10 companies in the world were oil companies, energy companies, steel companies. If you look at the top 10 companies today, they're all technology companies and data gathering companies. They're Alphabet, which is Google, they're Tesla, they're Facebook, there's Apple, like what do they sell? Why does Google give you all this stuff for free? They want your data. They want your information. Are you on your email and Gmail and then like an ad pops up and you're like, oh, well, that's interesting. Well, it's interesting because they comb all your emails. They don't read them. I don't know if I can do that, but they comb, yeah, right? They comb all of your information in your emails to structure ads for you because you get it for free. Online presence is the most valuable thing that you can have right now because people are going to use you when they know you, like you, and trust you. Well, if you want more people to know you, you're going to put yourself out there in social media on as many platforms as you possibly can. Now, when I say that, I take that with a word of caution. Put yourself out there on as many places as you possibly can. The as you possibly can part is important. I don't want you to go sign up for X if you're not going to use X. I don't want you to sign up for YouTube if you're not going to use YouTube. Because when cousin Sally refers you to her friend and says, hey, you should use Essence, she's amazing. What do you think cousin Sally's friend is going to do when they tell her that? They'll search her. What are they going to see? You can control the first page of Google if you put out enough content. And I learned this, oh my God, a long time ago. My wife at the time got me a referral from this mom's group that she had online. She's like, oh, I got a lead for you. So-and-so's thinking about selling their house in North Hollywood. You should probably contact them. I contacted them, scheduled an appointment, knew nothing about this person. I show up, knock on the door, and they open the door, go, oh, hey, Frank, your kids do this and this. They start saying all these things about me. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. Like, how did you know that? She's like, I Googled you. I was like, oh, I should probably Google myself to see what's coming up there because that freaked me out. And so I realized, like, if you haven't searched yourself online, I used to say you Googled yourself, but then everybody thought that was funny for some reason. So stop saying Googled. You should search yourself and see what's coming up. You're just searching yourself right now? Yeah, what's coming up? Anything good? Yeah, see that face right there? That's why you search yourself.
I
And
have
see.
LinkedIn. I did not know I'm part of it.
There you go.
That's interesting. Okay.
You don't want that to happen. You don't want to be like, oh my gosh, what is that? Another thing is that with Yelp is probably the most powerful or the worst thing that could ever happen to you as a business. Because this is the thing that Yelp can do that I don't like. Anybody can go on Yelp and create a profile for you. If you have not created your profile on Yelp, somebody can go on there and go, I worked with Shay and she is terrible. 1-star review. And then there's this little thing that says first review or like, and it's like it takes an act of God to get that review out of there. I have a real estate friend of mine. So I used to have a social media company to where I helped businesses, mainly realtors, do their social media. And then I got into this reputation thing where I was trying to help them because I had a realtor, he does about, I'd say, $80 million in sales a year. And if you go to his Yelp, it's like one of the worst Yelps I've ever seen. He pissed off a seller. And they went on there and they lit up his Yelp review to where he had like 2.5 stars. They said some of the worst things I've ever seen. And he contacted attorneys, he did all these crazy things, he couldn't get it off. Could not get it off. Now, keep in mind, he didn't let it stop him, he kept selling, but I can guarantee you he did lose business because of it, because it was such a scathing review. And if you don't create your online presence, somebody else will create it for you. So it's really, there is no point of my day to where I'm not online doing something and pushing content out there. Because the world is so noisy that if I want my information out there, I have to constantly be pushing it out there. I've gotten to the point where I'm able to leverage myself with a VA, so it's not me posting everything everywhere, but I am involved in it on the important parts that I'm doing. So I am always involved. I would not recommend hiring somebody to do it for you because authenticity is really important. I have a VA to do kind of the extra things on the side to kind of put a little zhuzh on top of my social media, but I am out there doing it all myself. Anything you've seen me post on Facebook, on Instagram, has been me personally. Sometimes on LinkedIn. But what I would recommend is I would go to Yelp and create a Yelp profile. I would create a Yelp profile and then literally get everybody on the planet that you know that loves you to put a positive review on there, 5-star review. This is how you ask for a review. You go, hey, I just created a Yelp account and I would love it if you could give me a 5-star review. Don't ask for a review and tell them, I don't want a 4-star review. I want to make sure it's a 5-star review. Ask for it because this is what'll happen. And this happened to me. Person gave me a review, it was 4 stars. I call them up, I go, what the hell? Why am I getting 4 stars? They're like, well, if I gave you 5 stars, people would think it was fake. So I figured 4 stars would be more real. I'm like, no. No, let them think it's fake. It's fine. It's fine. That people do that. I think that's happened to Tracy too. That's people went on Zillow and gave her a 4-star review. Like, I don't, you want to make sure it's real, you know? But it's just like, you have to ask for it. And I'm serious, like mother, sister, brother, dog, like get everybody on there. It doesn't matter who they are to go on Yelp and put something positive about you. The more you get, the better. But because this is what'll happen. I always believe this. It's like, so I used to ride a motorcycle and there's a law when you ride a motorcycle, there's two types of motorcycle riders. Those who fall and those who will. I did fall on a motorcycle, so I'm part of that group. But in the rule of Yelp and social media is that it's not if you get a bad review, it's when you get a bad review. We have, so I don't have control over the Yelp for this office, but there's reviews on there that have nothing to do with this office. Absolutely nothing to do. People aren't here, but people go on there and they'll just say crazy stuff to say crazy stuff. And so if you don't control it, like somebody's gonna go on there and they're gonna say something bad about you. You didn't call them back, that you did X, Y, Z that you probably never did. Like it can be insane. But what it does, the bad reviews will make all the good ones valid. And you gotta, some reviews, if they're really, really bad, you just gotta ignore them. But what I would explain to you is when somebody gives you a bad review, acknowledge it and address it in the absolute most positive way you can. Now, take it with a grain of salt as far as like every review is gonna be different. And if you need help with like, should I respond to this? If it's a bad review, what should I do? Bring it to me and I'll give you context and I'll give you my opinion. But I'll give an example. Who knows Gary Vaynerchuk? Anybody online? Gary V, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know Gary V?
Gary.
Gary V, okay. Okay. You know Gary V, Benita?
No.
Gary V, no? So Gary V, he's a huge influence. He wrote a book back in the late 2000s called Crushing It, which was amazing about social media. And then he's written a bunch of books recently, but he did a talk and it was like a 2-hour seminar talk. And somebody went online and gave him a review of 1 star and said, this This guy is so arrogant. He's from New Jersey and I have 2 hours of my life that I'm never getting back. Gary went on there and replied to his comment and said, hey, first of all, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. What can I do to help you get these 2 hours back? I'm going to be in your area in about a month. I would love to sit down with you and have a conversation with you to see if I can help you with that. What happened is everybody went from like, Gary's a bad guy, that review was bad or whatever, to, oh, the guy that wrote that's a douchebag. And people wrote that. People wrote that. So that's not me saying that, that's people wrote that the guy was such a jerk for writing such a negative review because Gary's so cool, because Gary's gonna go help this guy, he's gonna sit down with him, like I can't, like he's completely turned it around. So that's how you have to look at things like that. But like I said, if you don't have a Yelp account, at some point, you're gonna piss somebody off and they may create a Yelp account for you. So you have to really, really pay attention to that to make sure that first review is not a negative review. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so online presence. So posting content. That is not the best way to get your brand out there. So online presence, you should have a logo. If you don't have a logo, you can go on Fiverr and find a logo for like $5, $10 or whatever. If you need help with that, I can help you with that. But having a brand for yourself is really important. And branding online is probably one of the most valuable things. And I'll give you an example of how powerful a brand is. Ashley.
Yes.
Hamburger, what comes to mind? Yeah, I say hamburger.
McDonald's.
McDonald's. When's the last time you had McDonald's?
15 years ago.
15 years ago, but yet I said the word hamburger, she said McDonald's. That's how powerful the brand is. When I say tennis shoe, what do you think, Anita? Tennis shoe.
Nike.
Nike. Nike. Does anybody know what Nike is? What is Nike? Google Nike and see what comes up. No,
Just wait.
just do it. What does Nike even mean? Everybody would say it means just do it. So nobody here knows what Nike is? Nike is a Greek god.
I thought it was Nike.
Well,
Yeah, Nike.
it's Nike. It's
Yeah.
still spelled the same way, but Nike is the Greek god of victory, I think is what it is. But if you Google it, that's not coming up. The same with Amazon. If you Google Amazon and go to images, you're not seeing a rainforest. That's brand.
Yes, that is a big thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
So brand is really super powerful. So when somebody says your brand or sees your logo, like you want to put it out there as much as possible, and don't be afraid to put it out, quote unquote, too much. People are like, oh, I don't want to do it too much. It's like, no. Does Carl's Jr. care about how many commercials that they put out while you're trying to watch the Desperate Housewives of Los Angeles? Right? They don't care. Matter of fact, Carl's Jr. is notorious for doing 2 commercials in a row. Like, I don't need to see the double bacon cheeseburger twice. They don't care.
Just in case you didn't catch the first half.
Exactly. That, I thought it was a mistake. When I first saw them doing that, I thought it was a mistake. Then I realized, no, that's actually a marketing play. I mean, branding is so powerful that Super Bowl ads are $7 million for 30 seconds. Who's got $7 million for 30 seconds? That's insane. But branding is very, very important. And so putting your brand out there, and I'm going to tell you, these are your options on social media. You can post, you can comment, you can like, and share. If you had to rank these as far as what's the #1 thing you should be doing, what do you think it would be? What do you think the first one?
Post.
Post, you think post would be #1? Okay, what do you think #2 would be?
Comment.
2 is comment.
Sorry to go in order.
#3, what would #3 be? Like, oh, so we're just going right down one. So I put it that way to strategically throw everybody off. So, I didn't expect anybody to get it right. That is not the order. The order is Share is number one. Sharing is caring. So if you go to somebody, you go to your friend Ganita's Facebook page and she's talking about meditation, she puts up a YouTube video about her meditation, and you share that, that gives her a notification that you shared it. How do you think that's gonna make her feel? So, oh my God, somebody shared my stuff, right? That's how things become viral. Things become viral because of all of the things that happen, and sharing is the most powerful when it comes to the algorithm on almost any platform. Number two, comment. The algorithm pays attention to what you're saying and how you're saying and how much of it you're saying, who you're commenting on. If you want people's stuff to show up in your feed, then you start liking and commenting on their thing. There's one more. Private message. That would be number three. So I always liken social media to be like virtual door knocking. So if you went door knocking and there was a little green light above every house to show you who was home, that would be pretty cool, right? Well, that's Facebook. So you can go down to the private messages and there's little green lights of everybody that's online, and you can message them. And if they see your message, they'll little thing will come up and say, hey, I saw his message. Like, well, you looked at my message and he didn't respond. Like, what the hell?
On Facebook?
On Facebook. But if you start commenting, sharing, and private messaging people, they will start showing up in your newsfeed. And then if they post something and you comment on it, there's a whole bunch of people that are their friends that are gonna see your stuff. So that's creating more exposure and more attention to your brand. And then we have, in my opinion, 4, 5, this is kind of interchangeable in my mind. I'm not sure which one's more powerful. I would say maybe posting is more powerful than liking. Because like posting is like push marketing. Push marketing is like television ads. So it has its place, but it's not the best when it comes to getting attention and having conversations with people. But you should absolutely like a lot of people's things and comment as much as you, especially if you see something that you actually do like make a comment. Hey, that's really cool. Hey, that's really great. Ask a question. Get people to engage with you. That's really the key. Because if you were in a group of people and you said something and I was like, boy, I like that. And that's all I did, that'd be weird, right? Or if you did something, I'll go, hey, and then I ask you a question about it, that's more of an engaging situation. If you start treating online more of like in person, it's gonna take you way farther. And I think a lot of influencers out there do that. They do videos, they do certain things online to create a more authentic and real experience to engage with people. To like, if you go look at food videos, a lot of people do food videos as if they're in front of a crowd of people. And right, it's more of an entertaining thing that they do. And so you should be doing that as well. Yes.
I just want to share something about the sharing and calling. So
Yeah.
yesterday I actually called somebody. I know her like approximately for 10 or 15 years. And she's a healer, she works with energies and all kinds of things. So really quick, like I thought I'm calling about real estate. And what ended up happening, she got on the Zoom with me. Like 2 hours later, we had a small session, healing session. And now she's just asking me, oh, can you give me like your testimonial, like about my session,
Yeah.
how was it? And just recorded something really quick, what came out very positive. And I'm gonna share your real estate thing on my, on my Facebook. So it's
Absolutely.
kind of like, you never know how it comes out unless
Absolutely.
you call.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I thought I called about real estate, but I ended up healing in a healing session. Okay. Not bad.
No relationship.
Yeah.
Another thing is that when you're doing all of this stuff, you're probably not doing it as much as you probably should. I'm not doing it as much as I probably should. I would tell you, you need to post, comment, like, share all that stuff minimum of 10 times a day. Yes.
Well, this is more of a personal story. The reason I said that I thought posting might be the most important.
Uh-huh.
So when I was in high school, I was trying to get a babysitting job. And my mom told me, well, all the moms are on Facebook, so you have to get Facebook.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me download Facebook. So I downloaded Facebook and I just started messaging moms.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any online presence yet.
Yeah.
And one of the moms was like, she ended up telling me, I just want someone that is more reliable. And it's like, well, what does that mean? I'm reliable, and I checked my profile. It's because I only had like 6 friends
Yeah.
and I had no posts, and my profile picture didn't even have my face in it.
Yeah.
So having like an honest platform and also like posting things so people can kind of get a good understanding of who you are as well.
Absolutely. So when I say like, do as much as you can, like don't sign up for X. Like you don't want people to see that you have an X account, but you haven't posted there in 3 years. Like it's just like, it's not a bad thing, but it's not gonna make you look good. So you just do what you're gonna do, and the more content you can put out there, because people like, and this is what I'm gonna tell you to do. On the next part that we're gonna talk about is that I'm gonna tell you to go look up everybody you know, connect with everybody you know, and the thing is you're gonna find out things about them you probably didn't know. And if you're trying to figure out how to have a conversation with them, like I'm gonna tell you to call everybody you know once a month. Well, you're gonna get to somebody and go, I don't know what to say to this person. You look them up. Oh, they just went to Big Bear on a vacation with their family. Oh my gosh, they have a dog named Pookie. Like you just like find out more about them and call them and ask them questions about themselves. People love to be like, love to get attention. Yes,
You know about the dog guy?
the dog guy.
Yeah, the real estate guy with the dog, and then he started posting about his dog, and all of a sudden, he was like flooded with, you've told this story before. Yeah. He basically posted a picture of himself with his dog, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody started reaching out to him. Like, the more he posts about him and his dog, like, he's getting more and more, like, God, I found this, you talked about it once, and then I looked him up. Yeah, it was great.
No, but
People love
Yeah.
animals.
people, so I'm a dog person, I have 2 dogs, and we are freaks. We are, dog people are freaks, right? So if you know somebody that has a dog, like that is probably one of your most powerful tools. Because what you need to do, like if I saw somebody in a video or a Facebook post that had a dog, I'd call them up and be like, hey, I have a dog too, especially if it's the same breed.
Oh, man.
Like people get freaky about their breeds, right? And so you call them and go, hey, like, what's your dog's name? Like, get the dog's name, get the dog's birthday, because trust me, dog people, we know their birthdays, right? And so put it in the database to send the dog a birthday card. That will put you at a different level with people, because nobody does that. But if we pay attention, if you care about the things your people care about, that puts you in a different category. It's super powerful, and social media gives you, your online presence gives you that opportunity to know all of that stuff. All right, so I know I talk a lot, so we're gonna go to the last one, database. So this wraps up the foundation. Out of all of this, nobody is equal. I'm sorry, nobody is above anybody else. They're all equal. Not one person is more important in this group, online, mindset, or database. They are all important. So your people, everybody you know, they live somewhere. Most people, it's here. This is not gonna help you. It's a start, but you have to have them in a database. You have to have them in something that they're going to, can follow up with, and you can take notes and you can do certain things. Are you gonna raise your hand? Thought Sandra was raising her hand again. So you have to put them somewhere. In a database gives you the opportunity to create follow-up plans, or they're called SMART plans with us. And it's super easy to do this. So if you haven't been here super long, there's tutorials and there's training that we have to show you how to basically push a few buttons and upload everybody in your phone to your database. So does everybody know how many people they have in their phone right now? I have like 5,000. Do you know how many you have? No? How many people do you have in your phone?
I don't know.
Do you have an Apple phone?
Yes.
Okay, go to your contacts and scroll to the bottom. She told me how many people she knew in our meeting, and we're about to see if she was lying there. You scroll to the bottom, and it'll tell you a number.
Just put me on the spot, why don't you?
Yes, I'm good at this. You'll learn that about me. I call people out.
Okay, I have 73 contacts.
70, oh, so you didn't lie.
No,
You
I
didn't
don't
lie.
know
You're
that many
absolutely true.
people.
Okay, I like it. So at the end of the day, those 73 people have to go into a database,
Okay.
and then you have to follow up with them. So following up with them, so this is the part where agents have struggles. The struggle is that we want to contact everybody all at once, send a spam message, send a spam voicemail, send a spam text, send us everything. That's not the way, how many do you have?
1,500.
There you go, look at that, that's a millionaire real estate database right there. So everybody wants to do this bulk advertising and marketing and messaging. That is not the way to go. I always tell people that what we want to do as real estate agents and marketers is want to take this big old net, throw it out into the ocean and catch all this fish and bring it back. What in reality happens is you take this big net, you throw it out in the ocean, all the fish run. You bring the net back and nothing's in there. Because if you put everybody in your database and you start emailing everybody right away, that's called spam and they're going to ignore you. What you do with your database is that you put them all in there and you call each of them one by one, like Castaway, Tom Hanks on an island with a spear going after one fish at a time. That's what anybody seen Castaway here? I was talking to a young audience, like all these old man references. It's crazy.
We have a comment from the chat.
What's the comment?
Rose just checked her phone and she has 3,000.
That's a
Wow.
millionaire real estate agent database if I've ever heard one. There you go. I love it. So the thing is that going after your database one by one and connecting with each person one by one is going to be exponentially more powerful than trying to do a mass email, mass text, mass anything. And if I can get everybody to realize that you're gonna call one person today, one person tomorrow, and one person, and one person, one person, one person, what's gonna happen is that there's going to be a compounding effect to where that's going to grow. And so I think there's a thing in the compound effect, it talks about like, I'm gonna give you $1 million right now, or I'm gonna give you 1 penny and have it double every day for 30 days, which one would you take? The $1 million? So do you know at the end of 30 days, what 1 penny doubling every day for 30 days ends up getting you? I think it's like $3 million.
1 penny.
1 penny. 1 penny doubling every day for 30 days ends at what? Big Siri is listening to me.
She's a little dumb.
Well, somebody doesn't like Siri.
No.
If you double the penny every day for 30 days, what would you get? It is $5,368,709. Yeah. So that's a trick in the compound effect. They say, it's compound. So it's like 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 3 and then 6 and then 12 and then it just keeps growing. And then when you get to like day 20 or day 25, it just blows out of control. But when you're talking to one person in your database and consistently talking to them, you're gonna get the compounding effect in time way faster than if you're trying to mass mail everybody or mass do anything. But it's gonna seem just like when you take 1 penny and double it and double it and double it and double it, your first 2 weeks, you're like, this is going nowhere. This is like, I got $50 in 2 weeks, but then it goes to 5 million very quickly. And that's what happens because when you reach out to one person, this is what I want to end on because I think we're running out of time. This is what I want to end on. Everybody is so concerned about the 73 people that they know that they say, those 73 people are not going to buy or sell with me. Nobody wants to buy or sell with me. Everybody I know doesn't own a house, can't afford a house, has bad credit, doesn't like me. It's not about that. What it's about is taking those 73 people and creating advocates for who you are so that they tell all the people you don't know about you. Like giving a referral for your business. Say, I'm going to refer your business. You refer my business, I'll refer your business. That's a conversation you can go out with any business right now and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I would love to refer your business. Could you reciprocate? Easy conversation. Some people will say no, that's fine. Move on. There's 8 billion people on the planet. You don't need a lot of those people to be super successful in what you do. To be honest with you, for most people's goals, you need about 300 people. If you know about 300 people and you talk to them enough and you get them all to like you, you will be massively successful. But it's all in these 3 steps that we talked about. Now, just to touch on the next 2 steps, the next step beyond setting up your foundation is lead generation. Lead generation is calling everybody you know one by one and finding out where they at in life. Managing the relationship. And then step 3 is the easiest one out of all of it, is just you follow up frequently and aggressively. You follow up and you follow up, and you follow up and you follow up. 65 times a year, we have a follow-up plan, we sent it out. I'll have it sent out to everybody in the class. But you just follow up with people constantly, aggressively, and frequently. The 65 touch plan that I have, it's what Tracy does with our database. It's what we do. And we have a lot of success. So I'm not telling you to do something I haven't already done or that I don't know it actually works. And so I would say this is where you start. And then if you bump your head, you skin your knee, or if you have a problem, or if you have a question, like reach out to me and let me know. 'Cause trust me, I have failed in so many different ways in real estate and I've had so many different problems. I don't think there's something you can bring to me that I haven't dealt with myself. I've done stupid things in real estate. I've had massive failure and I've come back from it like a phoenix rising from the ashes. So anything you come across, bring to me, especially if it gets you down or if it gets you frustrated. That's I think one of my superpowers is that I can take from my struggles and I can help you grow to where you want to go. Thoughts or questions before we wrap this up? Yes.
I just want to say something that, sometimes I am hesitant to call somebody because he or she is out of state. But then I remember there's a referral fee. And actually speaking just like with a couple of people in a couple last weeks, I got one client who is living in Los Angeles, but has a house in Eugene.
Yep.
And he's looking for somebody for contractor first, but after that, he will be selling or renting his house out. And the second person was yesterday, actually, I called somebody again. And he said, call me in 2 months. I'm in Bay Area. I'm probably gonna end up selling my home. So I'm not hesitant of not calling somebody because they're out of state. That's a great opportunity for referral.
So this is you 300 people. Everybody knows about an average of 300 people, not everybody. Somebody knows that. So you 300 people, but everybody you know knows people too. It's the only quadratic effect that you have. You literally have the opportunity to connect with thousands upon thousands of people. Even if you only know 100, everybody you know knows about 300. And you just never know where that deal is going to come from. Tracy sold property in Spain, Costa Rica, Mongolia, like other parts of the country, other parts of the United States, like that's just a given. Like it's the easiest check to get because it's a referral check. You don't really have to do much. But those opportunities are literally out there for you right now. You just can't be afraid to call them. Thoughts or questions before we wrap it up? Thank you so much, guys, for coming. I really, really appreciate it. Everybody have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow for coaching. Oh, we gotta do the raffle. All right. You have everybody online too?
Yes.
All right, $100 Amazon gift card.
We have one more comment.
One more comment. What's the comment? Is it a positive?
So arrogant.
No, that was for me. I liked.
Okay. All right, let's see.
It is
I had nothing to do with this drawing.
Shay.
Shay! Congratulations. Look at that. Just joined the office and you won $100 gift card. That's awesome.
No,
The
that's
chat says
amazing.
congrats.
Yay, thank you.
So I will email that out to you from the email that we have on file.
Yes.
And if you need anything else, let me know. But thank you guys for coming and I hope everybody has a fantastic day.
All right.
I have another Zoom call that I have to get on.